Hiya YouTubers, I am JabeerIni and I'll show you today how to brew a beautiful beer at home. The beer we'll be brewing today is becoming very popular amongst homebrewers lately. It is called Way to Amarillo, or as I prefer it to be called, Way to Amarillo. The concept of this beer is to be very basic and simple on the malt side in order to leave room for the Amarillo hops to shine. Amarillo hops, also called Super Cascade, are very famous for the properties they offer, mainly citrus and floral flavors and aroma. Hence, this variety is classified as an aroma hop. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that it's not capable of bittering a wort, as indeed we'll just use it for bittering the beer we'll brew in a minute. Instead, it means that with such a huge capacity and power for aroma and flavor, it should not be used as a bittering hop exclusively. Going back to the concept of the beer, there's a good margin for homebrewers to add their own distinctive touch. Some make it a single hop IPA by adding a big amount of hops. Some others go easy on the hops and get a session pale ale, which is my case. In fact, until last weekend, it was clear in my head that I was gonna make it an IPA because I love IPAs and I love Amarillo hops. So math was easy. However, I stumbled across a Dead Pony Club. This is a session pale ale brewed by Brewdog. Brewdog is a Scottish brewery that is expanding all over the globe. If you have tried any of their beers, you know they're great. If you haven't, try them. They are great. Anyway, I was drinking that Dead Pony Club and noticed that both the malt and hop profiles were rather low, but still the beer was so good and refreshing that I changed my mind and said, okay, let's make Way to Amarillo a session pale ale. Of course, there's a twist to make it a little bit more interesting and unique. Before saying the magic words, I'd like you to see the cherry beer we had there in the back. It's just beautiful. The smell that comes out of the airlock is glorious, and the color, well, it's very interesting, and it's getting clearer and clearer every day. I think I'm gonna leave it for 5 to 7 more days probably before bottling, but in any case only the hydrometer will tell. Now, without further ado, let's get brewing! Okay, so here we're in the kitchen, and what is the first thing that we need to start brewing in the best mood? A home brew! And here it is. This is a bottle of that lovely dark ale, I named it Black Gold, that we brewed in episode 2. A lot of smoke coming out of the bottle. Let's pour it. And there we have it. If you want to see a complete and detailed review of this beer, click the wee eye icon in the top right corner and you'll be redirected. Let's take a sip. Beautiful. Let me show you the ingredients we'll be using. Okay, so first off, and as usual, water. This is a 5-liter container, which we'll be using as a fermenter. 500 grams of light dry malt extract. 10 grams of Amarillo hops. These will be divided in 3 portions, one of 5 grams, one of 3 grams, and finally one of 2 grams. Now the twist. 100 grams of Lyle's golden syrup. You can use any syrup if you don't find this brand in particular. The reason I'm using this is because I love the smell and the taste of this syrup, and even if all of these sugars or most of the sugars will be converted into alcohol, I am still hoping that I can get some of that flavor and aroma in my beer. A quarter of a tablet of protafloc, and last but most important, this lovely yeast. This is an M42 by Mangrove Jacks. I'll be making a starter with this. I know the starters are normally made with liquid yeast, but I've seen that some people make their starters with this type of yeast as well. So I thought, why not to give it a try? So let's get started. There is a slight change in this beer, because this time we're not getting this water to 65 degrees, but directly to a boil. So let's get it on. In the meantime, I'm gonna show you my starter. Okay, so what we have here is very simple. This is 500 milliliters of water with 50 grams of dry malt extract. This will give us an average original gravity of 1040, which is the ideal original gravity for a starter. Also, I have measured half of this packet of yeast. This is 10 grams, so this is 5, and all we have to do is just gently pour it in our wort, so to call it. And there we have it. Now we have to shake it. A starter is sort of a mini beer, and according to what I've read and some videos I've seen and the opinion of a lot of people, this makes your beer taste better. And that's it. All we have to do is wait until we have to pitch it. In the meantime, I'm gonna measure the dry malt extract and the hops. I'll be back in a few. Cheers! And here we have our hops and golden syrup. This first addition of hops, which is 5 grams, are added at the beginning of the boil, so it's 60 minutes. Then this portion of 3 grams will be added at 20 minutes before the end of the boil, and this last portion of 2 grams will be added at the last minute. Here we have our golden syrup, which will be added at 40 minutes. Regarding the dry malt extract, I've decided to wait until the very last minute because last time it was really sticky. In any case, there will be 2 additions. One of 200 grams as soon as the water starts boiling, and then the remaining 300 grams 20 minutes before the end of the boil. The purpose of this is to avoid caramelization and have a clear pale ale. Okay, so our water is boiling now. Time to simultaneously add our dry malt extract. This is 200 grams, not very easy, and 5 grams of Amarillo hops. And in they go. Now all we have to do is wait until the last 20 minutes before the end of the boil. Okay, last 20 minutes of the boil, time to add our remaining 300 grams of dry malt extract. I just measured it a minute ago. It's very sticky. Not as much as the first time, but still. 100 grams of golden syrup. And in it goes. Alright. And easy 3 grams of Amarillo hops. And in they go. There in the back you can see that the dark ale is going down really nicely. I'll be back in a few. Okay, last 10 minutes of the boil. Time for a quarter of a tablet of protafloc. And in it goes. Last minute of the boil. Time to add our remaining 2 grams of Amarillo hops. And now it's only a matter of time until the boiling is done. I'll be back. Cheers. Okay, it's done. Time to cool it down. So as usual, I'll be stirring this until the temperature gets to 23 degrees more or less, so that we can transfer it to the fermenter and take a gravity reading. Okay, so less than 5 minutes, and there you see it, 26 degrees, that's fine. Now let's pour it in a separate pot and strain out those hops. And here we go. There we have it. Time to transfer it to the fermenter. And there we have it. Now it's time to add our starter. I'll give it a shake. And let's pour it. That's a good sign. Whoops. Again, I'm having some foam issues. Last time it happened the same to me with the cherry beer. I was really afraid of a blowout, but finally it didn't happen. So I'm crossing my fingers that this is the case as well. That's it. Now let's close it and shake it. Okay, so it's done. It's now time to put our airlock. Now it's fine. And there we have it. I took a sample of our wort to measure the original gravity, and here's a pick. As you can see, the original gravity is exactly 1060. So again, this is going to be a beautiful beer. So there's our wort. It's only a matter of time as usual. I'll be recording the outro of this video tomorrow, as I need to keep things quiet up there in the studio. Cheers! Okay, so here we are next day. Good morning. I was thinking that probably this is the best way to proceed with the video recording from now on. I'm really busy during the week, so I always record my videos on Friday after work or on weekends. The good thing about Friday brewing is that it allows me to relax after an intense week of work. I have tried recording videos on Saturdays. The good thing about doing that on Saturdays is that I can record the intro, the brewing process and the outro the very same day. But the illumination, as you have seen in some videos, is just a pain in the neck. The good thing about doing this on Fridays is that since I'm forced to record the outro next day, because the room next to this studio is my baby's room. If I make noise, she makes noise. I think you get what I mean. Doing this in 2 consecutive days allows me to give you a quick update, even if it's only 10 hours difference since the brewing process and this video. But as you can see, it's there, it's bubbling nicely. I have to confess that I was really afraid. This yeast in particular behaves in a different way. So far, all of the yeasts I've used kick in really fast. It's only a matter of minutes, less than an hour all the time. And this one, well, that was not the case. I had a starter, which is supposed to ease things up. I poured it, and then 1 hour had passed, 2 hours had passed. I was really panicking. 3 hours, I started researching. Everything you find there on forums and websites is keep calm and have a beer. So I kept calm and had a beer, nothing happened. And then at the 4th hour, the airlock finally started bubbling. It is bubbling in a very stable way. I think this is good news actually, because the experience I've had with previous batches is that it kicks in really fast, and then you have a very vigorous fermentation, and then it drastically slows down, and then it finally ends. So I thought that was normal. This is, on the other hand, really smooth. I have seen almost the exact same interval of bubbles since yesterday and today, so I think that's a good sign. Probably this is a yeast that ferments the wort in a more uniform way. In any case, I'll give you more details once we're testing that beer. For next week, we're going crazy. We're doing a double, but I'm not telling you what double it is. Is it a double malt? Is it a double hop? I think you may know from my comments what type of double I'm talking about. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna have a lot of things. I can't wait until next week. It's very experimental. It's the first time I'm gonna try some particular things. So stay tuned. This is it for this week. I hope you find this video useful. I hope you had fun as much as I did. If you like what you see, like, and don't forget to subscribe. And as usual, thanks for watching. Cheers and coffee. Cheers and beers. See ya.